February 8th.
This is the CBS Sunday Night News. Bill Plante reporting. Good evening. The UN Secretary General has asked the NATO allies to prepare for possible airstrikes against artillery positions around Sarajevo. That's in response to yesterday's mortar attack there, which killed 68 people. Bob Orr reports on the U.S. reaction to the attack.
Following an emergency meeting with national security advisors, President Clinton delivered conflicting signals, hoping for peace, but still holding out the possibility of airstrikes in Bosnia if allies go along.
Many of them remain concerned that because they have soldiers on the ground, something we don't have, that their soldiers will be retaliated against if we take action from the air.
But Saturday's bloody mortar attack on a Sarajevo market has some in Congress now demanding that military action replace White House saber rattling.
Our current policy is not only a moral failure, it's a strategic failure, that the Serbs are paying no price for their aggression, and that it's time to get tough.
It's very well for these members of Congress to say that. They don't have any constituents on the ground there.
NATO troops, though, are there, and new U.S. Secretary of Defense William Perry told a European security conference in Germany airstrikes against the Serbs could be costly.
To 28,000 peacekeepers on the ground, lightly armed, not prepared to fight a war, and surrounded by 200,000 combatants.
The president says he won't take any further action until UN investigators pin down exactly who is behind the latest shelling. But the president says in the meantime, he hopes the shock of this attack might move all sides towards peace. Bob Orr, CBS News, the White House.
U.S. sources do not expect military action anytime soon, despite the UN request to NATO. But as Tom Fenton reports, the administration has provided some humanitarian aid to Sarajevo.
An airlift ordered by President Clinton brought 58 injured Bosnians to Germany tonight for treatment at an American military hospital. That seemed to be the limit of support for the people of Sarajevo, who went about the grim business of identifying and burying the victims of Saturday's massacre. UN officials who inspected the scene where a large mortar shell killed 68 people and wounded nearly 200 lacked the technical means to pinpoint where the shell came from.
We cannot say with any degree of certainty from which side the mortar bomb originated.
That gave an excuse for governments reluctant to become more deeply involved to take no immediate military action. And it left the Bosnian Serbs and the Bosnian government, as usual, blaming each other.
They've been lying to the world for the last 2 years.
They are abusing the suffering of people in Sarajevo for the propaganda purposes.
The suffering is seemingly endless. Even as the grievously injured were being evacuated today from Sarajevo, the well-marked medical convoy was almost hit by a shell. Whoever the unknown gunner was, he couldn't resist the parting shot. Tom Fenton, CBS News, London.
Still ahead on the CBS Sunday Night News, remembering actor Joseph Cotten, dead at the age of 88.
Every time you have an awful cold, do you try a new cold remedy? Well, the search is over. Introducing Robitussin Liquid Gels. Powerful, non-drowsy relief for your cold.
Feeling better?
Yeah. New Robitussin Liquid Gels. Finally, Robitussin relief for your cold.
You want a half a pound of regular Swiss cheese? You want all that fat, cholesterol, sodium, and calories? No, 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 no. Not in this deli. I'm giving you Alpine Lace Swiss low because I care how you and you eat.
If you suffer from sinus pain and pressure, take Dristan Sinus. It contains ibuprofen with 40 million prescriptions, but combined in non-prescription strength with a decongestant doctors recommend most. Both are available in Dristan Sinus. It'll relieve pressure and ease sinus pain, all without drowsiness. Dristan Sinus, with 2 doctor-recommended medicines. And there is a full line of Dristan products that's right for you. Dristan.
President Clinton sends his budget to Congress tomorrow, and he will be in the unusual position for a Democrat of asking lawmakers to cut some of their favorite programs so that he can spend more. It promises to be the most difficult budget fight in years.
The president has to operate under rules in which spending more on one area means spending less or on another, or taxing more.
That's because this budget is governed by laws passed last August and in 1990, which set an absolute limit of $542 billion on so-called discretionary spending. which means that since Mr. Clinton wants to spend more on crime, Head Start, homelessness, and public works, he'll have to spend less somewhere else. His budget includes cuts in public housing, mass transit, and a fuel subsidy for the elderly.
I think the Congress is going to be challenged to basically come to agreement with what we presented in the budget.
That's putting it mildly. But unlike the budgets sent to Congress by the last two Republican presidents, Mr. Clinton's will not be considered dead on arrival.
What will happen is Congress will restore a portion of the cuts, not all of them, and they'll trim some of the increases. And at the end of the day, Democrats in Congress and the President of the White House will both call it a victory.
I anticipate that we'll be successful in the process, but not easy. There'll probably be a lot of blood on the floor by the time we finish.
The president's budget proposes killing 115 federal programs outright and trimming 185 others. Whether he succeeds or not, Mr. Clinton's purpose is to send a signal that he knows how to make hard choices. Tonya Harding met with her lawyer today in Portland, Oregon. Her figure skating future is now in the hands of the U.S. Olympic officials in Lillehammer. Vicki Mabry has the latest.
While Tonya Harding remains silent in Portland, the fate of her Olympic dreams now moves to Norway, where the U.S. Olympic Committee is considering convening within 2 weeks to decide if Harding should remain on the team.
We're considering an administrative board, and that board will consider all the information, plus give Ms. Harding, if it is formed, the opportunity not just to appear, but to present any information that she thinks is appropriate.
The U.S. Figure Skating Association decided yesterday that Harding knew enough about the attack on rival Nancy Kerrigan to bring her before a disciplinary panel. Harding has 30 days to respond, and unless she chooses to answer sooner, that hearing will not take place before the Olympics.
The panel has charged our special attorney up in Portland to really continue with the process of investigation, and that'll be ongoing until the hearing March 9th or 10th.
So while the USFSA gathers evidence and the USOC deliberates, others assume that short of a confession or conviction, Harding will stay on the team. But most agree the issue is due process, and the consensus is without time for Tonya Harding to prove her innocence in court before the Olympic Games, she probably will be on the ice in Norway. Vicki Mabry, CBS News, Colorado Springs.
Time to get up.
Wake up to Folgers Decaffeinated. It's not just a great decaffeinated, it's a great coffee. With all the mountain-grown aroma and taste of regular Folgers. In fact, if you didn't know it was decaffeinated...
Coffee? I was thinking maybe we should start drinking decaffeinated coffee.
Decaffeinated? But how could a decaffeinated wake me up like this does?
Best part of waking up. Even decaffeinated. It's Folgers in your cup. Every mother becomes a doctor in her own way.
Doctor will be here soon.
Her medical training starts here, where she learns that for fast cough relief, doctors recommend Robitussin more than any other cough medicine.
How you feeling, buddy?
She specializes in house calls. With her Robitussin and her great bedside manner, it's no wonder she has a thriving family practice. Robitussin, recommended by doctors, pharmacists, and Dr. Mom. And also try Robitussin cough drops. Cough drops from the cough experts.
As violence escalates again in the occupied Gaza Strip, there's growing doubt that crucial talks planned for tomorrow in Cairo will actually happen. Bob Simon has the latest.
On the eve of what many hoped would be a climactic meeting between Israelis and Palestinians, neither side seemed sure that the meeting would take place. PLO officials have been urging Yasser Arafat to stay away in order to pressure the Israelis into showing greater flexibility. The Israeli response? If Arafat doesn't come, there will be no meeting. And Prime Minister Rabin tonight counseled patience.
We are moving ahead. It takes time. Don't be impatient.
But time and patience are running out in the Gaza Strip. The last few days have seen a regression to the earliest, most brutal days of the Intifada. By now, according to the agreement reached in Oslo, the Israelis should be well into their withdrawal, and the Palestinians well down the road to self-government. None of this has happened. Instead, more soldiers, more violence, more desperation, with the warriors and the casualties getting younger all the time. The negotiations, when they resume in Cairo, will focus on Israeli demands for security and on Palestinian demands for symbols of sovereignty. So far, the only signs of statehood that have come to Gaza are the flags in which they wrap their children. Bob Simon, CBS News, television.
Another bizarre incident down under for Britain's Prince Charles. In his latest stop in New Zealand, a man with an aerosol can tried to spray Charles before he was subdued. It was a can of air freshener, and Charles was not hurt. Last week in Australia, he was fired on by a man with a starter's pistol.
When you manage a restaurant all day, you need the strongest hold you can get. That's why I switched to adhesives. Oh, that's good. Now I can sip hot soup at lunch. And still make it to dinner to greet my favorite customers.
Even in the hottest liquids, when other adhesives stop holding, Fix-It-Dent holds stronger and longer.
It's a long, hard day, but I love every minute of it.
For the strongest, longest hold, Fix-It-Dent and forget it.
So Janie was playing a molecule in the school play, and I start coughing. Everyone's staring. Fortunately, somebody handed me these cough drops, Robitussin. I didn't even know they made cough drops. Well, they worked on my cough right away, soothed my throat, and I could feel those vapors. I'm glad Robitussin took the spotlight off me and put it where it belonged.
Robitussin cough drops from the cough experts. And try new Robitussin Liquid Center cough drops with a soothing liquid center.
Joseph Cotten died today at the age of 88. Out of the public eye since a stroke in 1981, Cotten was once one of Hollywood's most glittering leading men. Cheryl Atkinson has more.
Charlie, I want you to let me work on the Chicago paper. What?
Joseph Cotten became a star with his very first film, the 1941 Orson Welles classic Citizen Kane.
You're fired.
The tall, distinguished actor grew up in Virginia and began his career on the stage. Wells took him from the theater to the screen. Cotten's distinctive voice and elegant presence allowed him to play both heroes and villains, opposite some of Hollywood's most famous leading ladies.
Is that why you came here? Take me away?
Are you as frightened as all that?
His association with Wells led to parts in the director's greatest films, including the 1949 suspense thriller, The Third Man.
I should be pretty easy to get rid of.
Cotten's career spanned 5 decades and nearly 70 films. He never took himself too seriously. He liked to say he would have been just as happy living life as a gardener or carpenter.
One can't just leave.
Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, New York.
And finally, addicts of the 63-year-old Dick Tracy comic strip are in for a shock from the real world. In this panel from 1949, the super detective finally weds love interest Tess Trueheart. But lately, Tess has become fed up with playing second fiddle to her husband's work. So in tomorrow's strip, while Dick's in Washington, he receives a special delivery letter from Tess. You got it. He's been served with divorce papers. Dick must now decide, rush home and try to patch things up, or stay on the job to tackle a terrorist plot. So keep reading. That's the CBS Sunday Night News. Tomorrow on CBS This Morning, Bosnian Olympians in Lillehammer react to the massacre in Sarajevo. I'm Bill Plante in New York. Good night. Have a good week.
CBS News.
It's the Washington State Daily Game Drawing for Sunday, February 6th, 1994. Now get ready as tonight's lottery official draws one number from each machine, all witnessed and verified by a representative from the certified public accounting firm of Grant Thornton. Tonight's numbers are 8, 3, and 7. That's 837. It's the Washington State Daily Keno Drawing for Sunday, February 6th, 1994. Now get ready as the 20 numbers are selected. All drawings are witnessed and verified by a representative from the certified public accounting firm of Grant Thornton. Tonight's numbers are 2, 7, 11, 23, 24, 29, 31, 39, 44, 45, 47, 51, 53, 57, 58, 61, 64, 68, 69, and 78. Numbers drawn are not official until validated.
Okay, ready? You want to buy something. Here's how to find it. The U.S. West Direct Yellow Pages. Or maybe you're in business. Good. Here's how you sell things. Let's clarify. You're a buyer again and there's something you want. No, really want. Where do you look? Whoa, fast learner. Now, being that this is, in fact, the great U.S. of A., if you want to buy something, bet the farm somebody wants to sell it to you. And how do you find each other? Amazing. Where to buy, where to sell. U.S. West Direct.
Burger King knows that when you're hungry for things done your way, every second counts. Things like the delicious Whopper with flame-broiled patties, fresh lettuce, juicy tomatoes, and only the best ingredients. So don't waste time. It's time to go to Burger King. I love this place. And now at Burger King, you can get a delicious flame-broiled Whopper for only 99 cents. A Whopper made your way right away for only 99 cents. So what are you waiting for? I love this place.
What's the best month to end your car payments? Be protected from future price raises. Get 94's best at the lowest prices of the year and not make a payment till spring? The month? February. The best of 94? Toyota. And this month, you can drive your new Toyota away for $129 or $189 a month. Take your choice. February, the best month of the year to drive the Toyota you've always wanted. At Valley Toyota.
Say, "Be my Valentine." You'll find more ways to say it and show it at Fred Meyer.